Today we're going to be talking about how you can avoid knee injuries, some muscles that you can strengthen to help you avoid knee injuries, and then some drills that you can do to improve on those skills. Now, how this video is going to go down is we're going to explain a reason why people will hurt their knee and get a knee injury when it comes to cutting. We're going to talk about what you can do to avoid that, like some of the mechanical aspects of it, and then give you a drill to work on that specific element. So the first reason that people will injure their knee is that when they cut, whether like let's say it's a receiver who's cutting on like a post route, for example, he goes to break, or maybe you have the ball in your hand, you go to cut and you're trying to put the brakes on. Receivers, athletes love to cut heel toe, right? So when you guys cut with your heel first, what ends up happening is that your toe slaps down, causing your leg to almost hyperextend, and that puts a ton of pressure on your knee, but that will also cause like a jolt of energy up your leg, right? So how you can fix that is by obviously cutting on the ball of your foot first. So if I'm a receiver and let's say I'm running a post, quarterback's over here, I'm cutting off of my outside foot, you can't obviously cut on your tippy toes. You're not going to have any balance. Your whole foot needs to get in the ground, but the first part of the foot to hit the ground has got to be the ball of the foot first. Now, what that requires is a lot of ankle stability. A lot of guys cut on their heel because when you are on your heel, that's going to slow you down, but it's not an efficient position. Your foot is outside of your body frame because a lot of receivers like to over-exaggerate their cuts. So again, puts pressure on my knee, doesn't allow me to explode out, and can lead to injury. So we're going to give you a great drill to work on ankle stability that's going to help you cut more on the ball of your foot so your foot can stay inside your body frame, you could drive out and do it safely. Now, before we get into this drill for ankle stability, if you're a wide receiver or a quarterback and would like to train with myself and my staff of coaches this offseason, we are coming out to 13 more states across the U.S. for 2-day-long QB and wide receiver training camps. Next up on our camp tour, we're going to be coming out to Las Vegas, Nevada. Then we'll be heading out to Charlotte, North Carolina, Portland, Oregon, Dallas, Texas, Nashville, Tennessee, Chicago, Illinois, Buffalo, New York, Atlanta, Georgia, Houston, Texas, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Detroit, Michigan, Boise, Idaho, and Los Angeles, California. So if you guys would like some more information on what we will be covering at the camps, how you guys can sign up, again, check out that very first link in the description below. Let's get back to this video. Now, when it comes to ankle stability or working on ankle stability, what we are essentially trying to emphasize is my heel not hitting the ground. Because remember, one thing that causes injuries is improper foot strike, right? If your heel hits the ground first, even when you're like running, let's say you're just generally running and you're running very flat-footed, heel is striking the ground, you're not in an explosive position, right? Now, when you're cutting at a high speed and you're trying to put the brakes on and you don't have that ankle stability, that's what leads to injury. So this drill can also help with just general speed, but also safely practicing your cut. So literally all you're going to do, you need 3 specific hurdles. If you don't have hurdles, you could use cones. You could set up 2 cones, but we're going to be jumping on 1 foot over each hurdle. So the goal is to not hear your feet hit the ground, and the goal is to not let your heel hit the ground. So you're going to start out here, and we're of course going to show you how this will go full speed, but you're standing on 1 foot and you're just going to hop, hop, hop. Now, what I highly recommend is probably recording yourself while you're doing this to see if your heel is staying out of the ground. A lot of athletes may feel like their heel is out of the ground, but they're ultimately striking still flat-footed. We want to try to stay on the ball of my foot, working on this stability in my ankle to help with my cuts and to help me safely practice my cuts. So again, I would say probably to do about 8 sets of this on the right leg, 8 sets of this on the left leg, and any type of speed workout or on-field routine. I'm going to show you how this is going to look full speed. Now, the second cause of knee injuries on cuts for wide receivers, for athletes in general, is like, let's say, for example, let's use that post route example again. Quarterback's over here, I'm cutting on a post, is that receivers, athletes have this inward cave of their knee when they cut. So this is a common problem that you see, especially with receivers, like they're making moves off the line of scrimmage and their knees cave inward. Now, what does that exactly come from? How can you prevent that? And obviously, we're going to give you a drill to work on preventing this. But that can come from a few things. Number one, it's going to come from bad habits in the gym. So a lot of athletes don't necessarily, and I honestly don't blame the athlete, I blame the coaches, I blame the strength coaches that they are working with. They'll be doing squats, they'll be doing like a single leg squat. Let's say I'm just doing like regular barbell squats, for example, and guys will squat down, but they end up having this inward cave on the way down, or maybe they squat down normal, but on the way up they have this inward cave, and that's just building bad habits. It's strengthening your legs in the wrong position. So when you guys cut, you have this inward cave, and that you got to understand that that inward tilt is how so many guys lose their ACL ACL, and how so many guys have and it's honestly like, if you don't weigh a ton, maybe you're a younger receiver, younger athlete, constant wear and tear of this position when you get a little bit bigger, you get a little bit more explosive, is going to cause that ACL, that knee to just pop. It's going to be gone. I've seen it happen many of times with athletes who just have that natural cave in. So what can you do to work on that, and what are some other things that cause that, right? Let's start with what causes it, right? So it's bad habits in the gym, obviously, but it's also with a lack of strength in your glutes, your hamstrings, and your quads. So when you're working out, you highly have to emphasize proper habits while performing these exercises like squats or single leg squats. So like, let's say I'm doing squats. I don't want to think about, okay, I'm just going to squat down and try to stay straight. You are literally trying to think, I'm going to press my knees outward to engage your glutes more, to engage your hamstrings more, to have you have that proper form while you're cutting or with your lower body. So I'm doing a squat. I don't want to go down here. I want to squat down. I want to press my knees outward and press my knees outward on the way up. And that should be for any type of leg exercise, to build that muscle memory, to strengthen your leg in the exact position we need it to be in while we are cutting. So now we're going to get to a great drill that will help you with that. So this next drill is going to be a great drill for you to work on that proper cutting form and having that shin be straight and not having that knee cave when you are performing an actual cut. So this is pretty much just like a 45-degree like jump drill, if you will, and it forces us to have to be in the correct like cutting form, if you will. So we're going to start out on your left leg, and literally all you're going to be doing is just jumping from side to side. But you're going to try to stick the jump, because if you don't stick the jump properly, you land outside your frame, you have the inward cave, you land heel toe, it puts you in an incorrect position, you can't do this drill. So you're going to start on the left foot, you are going to jump to the opposite side. Now you're going to try to hold it the best you can. I would rather have you fall this way like I did than fall back inward because of an inward cave. I'll show you that again one more time. So you're on the left leg, you're going to jump, and we're going to hold it. Now let's look at my shin. Completely straight, knee is straight, I'm not caved in, because if you cave in, you are going to fall in. So if we balance on one foot, we have to make sure that we're on that shin straight angle. And also, this works a little bit on ankle stability and just general balance, which can help you have safer cuts. You're gonna hold it here. I would say hold it for maybe about a 2-second count, so 1001, 1002. Then you're gonna jump to the next cone, 1001, 1002. Jump to the next one, 1001, 1002, to focus on having that shin straight, no inward cave, and that's the only way that you could do this drill correctly. So I would recommend probably going through this about 6 to 8 times. I'm gonna show you how this is going to look full speed.